Welcome to Shakespeare series. In this video, we will be discussing a short summary of The Merchant of Venice. This is a romantic comedy written between 1596 to 1598. Important characters are Antonio, who is the merchant of Venice in the play, Shylock, a Jewish money lender, Lancelot, a clown and servant of Shylock, and in the play, we have three important couples or pairs. I have listed one against the other so that you can easily remember them. So the first pair is Portia and Bassanio. Portia is an heiress of Belmont. Bassanio is a very good friend of Antonio. Second pair is Jessica and Lorenzo. Jessica is the daughter of Shylock. And the last pair is Greciano and Nerissa. Nerissa is a friend of Portia. So these are the important characters. Now let's start the play. The play starts with Antonio in a melancholic mood. However, he is not sure about the reason. That time, his good friend Bassanio comes and asks him that he has run out of money and now he is in need of 3,000 ducat. What for? Bassanio wants to go to Belmont in order to woo Portia, an heiress. Antonio, being a very good friend, is actually ready to give him the money. However, none of the ships of Antonio have returned back. Actually, if the ships return, then only he can sell the goods and get the money. So, Antonio decides to borrow money from Shylock, who is a Jewish money lender. Now, there is a problem here. Shylock is having a grudge towards Antonio. What's the reason? Shylock is a Jew, and in Venice, the Jews were treated as though they belonged to an outcast race. They were obliged to live in a special part of town and wear special garments to keep them separate from the Christians. And almost the only trade they were permitted to practice was that of money lending. So with all these things, actually the way Jews were treated, Shylock was not that happy with Antonio and wanted to take the advantage of the situation. So he tells Antonio that he'll give the money, but if he fails to return the money back within 3 months, he will have to give 1 pound of flesh out of his body. Antonio confidently agrees to the contract because he was expecting all his ships to return back so that he will be able to, he can successfully pay Shylock back. Now, the scene shifts to another part in Venice where we can see Shylock very angry. There are reasons for this. One is his servant Lancelot left him because Shylock treated him very badly. Second is a major reason that his daughter Jessica eloped with Lorenzo. Added to this, Jessica actually eloped with a Christian, so that made Shylock very angry. Also, again, she added to this anger, Jessica, when she eloped, she took most of the money of Shylock and left. So this is the situation that we can see in Venice now. Now the scene again shifts to Belmont, where we can see Portia waiting for her suitors. However, Portia is not happy with any of her suitors. Again, there is a reason for this. In the days when her father was alive, she once met a young Venetian gentleman who is none other than our Bassanio, and still she remembers him with favor. So actually she is expecting Bassanio to come. And also when her father died, he left a test for her suitors, that is for Portia. It was, each man was to be presented with 3 caskets. Caskets means a kind of box. One of gold, one of silver and the other of lead. Inside one of them was Portia's picture, and whoever chose the right casket would become her husband. And we can see many princes coming and trying to pick the right casket. There is Prince of Morocco who comes and picks the gold casket. However, he finds a skull inside it, and there was a letter with the lines. This is a very famous line that all of us are very familiar with. It is, all that glisters is not good. Later, another prince from Aragon comes and picks the silver casket. Inside that, he could find only the picture of a fool. Again, there is a letter that with the line, you get what you deserve. So finally, we can see Bassanio there. Portia is very happy to see Bassanio. However, Portia wants Bassanio to choose the right casket, so she decides to give him a clue in the form of a song. She sings a song that bears a kind of rhyme. The lines are, "Tell me where is fancy bred, or in the heart or in the head." So these are the lines. So Bassanio gets that it is the lead casket is the correct one, and he chooses the lead casket, finds the portrait of Portia inside it, and finally gets to marry Portia. Now they are happy, and that time itself we can see other two couples. One is Bassanio's friend Gratiano, who is now ready to marry Portia's friend Nerissa, and the eloped couple, that is Shylock's daughter Jessica along with her husband Lorenzo. So they are happy now. But that time they receives a letter from Antonio stating that all his ships have been wrecked, and now Shylock is about to take 1 pound of flesh out of him. Hearing this, Portia offers to give any amount of money, even the double. However, Shylock does not want money, but justice against Antonio. Bassanio leaves for Venice. Portia decides to help Bassanio. She and her friend Nerissa goes to Venice disguised as young lawyers and attend Antonio's trial. As a last attempt, the Duke even tries to persuade Shylock to forego his revenge. But Shylock is unmoved. He is ready with his knife. At that moment, Portia makes her entrance and tells that she has just sent by a brilliant lawyer who was about to attend the trial. Portia tells the court that Shylock is actually entitled to his pound of flesh and no one can prevent him from taking it as the law allows this. Hearing this, Shylock feels that Portia is on his side. But Portia adds to her stating that Shylock may have his pound of flesh, but he can have nothing else. If he sheds 1 drop of blood, he breaks the law, for blood was not mentioned in the contract. Also, the flesh should weigh exactly 1 pound. Shylock learns that he has been trapped by Portia's loophole and finally begs for compromise. Finally, it was decided that as a punishment for attempting to take a Venetian man's life, Shylock should convert to Christianity and should give half of his wealth to his daughter Jessica. Now the case is closed. In the next scene, we have Portia and Nerissa, who are disguised as lawyers, and they are about to ask their reward. Now Bassanio is very happy. He agrees to give them whatever they demand. Portia asks Bassanio to give his ring. With this, Bassanio was actually perplexed because it was his wedding ring and he had promised Portia that the ring would never leave his finger. However, since he owes the young lawyers a great debt, he finally agrees to give the ring. Similarly, Nerissa also asks Gratiano for his ring and he too agrees to give. After this, now the scene again shifts to Belmont, where everyone have reached back. Portia tries to tease Bassanio by asking about his ring. Finally, she reveals that it was she who came as a young lawyer and Nerissa was a lawyer's clerk. The little joke is now over. The play ends with all the 3 married couples happy, and the misfortunes of Antonio, the merchant of Venice, also have finally ended. So that is a happy ending to the play. Thank you.